On September 14, 2019, a woman walked into the wilderness and simply vanished. No body, no clues, no answers. But 3 years later, a park ranger would discover something that would send chills down the spine of everyone involved. A handwritten note tucked inside a hollowed-out tree that changed everything we thought we knew. 28 years old, brown hair, bright smile. Hannah Westbrook wasn't the kind of person who disappeared without a trace. She was a third-grade teacher from Portland, Oregon, loved by her students, adored by her family, the kind of person who remembered everyone's birthday and always had a joke ready. That September, Hannah decided to take a solo trip to Crater Lake National Park. She needed time to think, she told her sister Claire. She'd just ended a 5-year relationship, and the weight of starting over was heavy on her shoulders. "I just need to clear my head," she'd said on the phone the night before she left. "I'll be back by Monday." Monday came and went. Hannah's car was found in the parking lot of the Cleetwood Cove trailhead, keys still in the ignition, wallet on the passenger seat, phone charging in the console. Everything was there, except Hannah. The search began immediately. Park rangers, volunteers, search dogs. They combed through miles of rugged terrain, calling her name into the dense forest. But Crater Lake is unforgiving. Steep cliffs, thick brush, endless hiding places for someone who didn't want to be found, or something that didn't want to let them go. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and still nothing. Hannah's mother, Patricia, appeared on local news stations pleading for information. Her father, a retired firefighter named Thomas Westbrook, personally hiked the trails every weekend, refusing to believe his daughter was gone. "She's out there," he would say, his voice breaking. "I know she is." But as the seasons changed and the snow began to fall, hope started to fade. By the winter of 2020, the official search was called off. Hannah Westbrook was declared a missing person, one of hundreds who vanish in national parks every year, swallowed by the wilderness without explanation. Her family held a memorial service. Friends planted a tree in her honor. Life painfully moved on. But Hannah's story wasn't over. A park ranger named Marcus Holloway was conducting a routine trail inspection along the Watchman Peak Trail, about 4 miles from where Hannah's car had been found. It was late afternoon, the kind of golden light that makes the forest look almost magical. Marcus noticed something odd. A piece of fabric, faded, weathered, caught on a low-hanging branch about 50 feet off the main trail. He almost ignored it, probably just trash left by careless hikers. But something made him stop. Call it instinct. Call it fate. He pushed through the underbrush and found the fabric, a torn piece of a purple fleece jacket, the same color jacket Hannah had been wearing the day she disappeared. Marcus radioed for backup and began searching the immediate area. That's when he saw it. A Douglas fir tree, maybe 15 feet tall, with a small hollow near its base, just big enough to fit your hand inside. And tucked deep within that hollow, protected from the elements by layers of bark, was a rolled-up piece of paper. Marcus pulled it out with trembling hands. It was a note, handwritten, smudged but legible. And it was signed by Hannah Westbrook. The note was brief, just a few sentences scrawled in pencil on what looked like a page torn from a small notebook. But those words would haunt investigators for months to come. It read, "If you find this, tell my family I'm sorry. I thought I could make it back. I followed the voices. I shouldn't have. The trail isn't where I left it. I don't know where I am anymore. I'm so tired. H.W." The voices. Those two words changed everything. Search teams were immediately dispatched back to the area. Cadaver dogs, thermal imaging, helicopters. They searched for weeks, focusing on the region around the tree where the note was found. They never found Hannah's body, but they did find something else. About a quarter-mile from the tree, rangers discovered what appeared to be a makeshift shelter. Branches propped against a fallen log, remnants of a small fire pit, and scattered around the area, more torn pieces of that purple fleece jacket. Forensic teams analyzed the site. The fire pit was old, likely from around the time Hannah went missing, and soil samples revealed traces of human presence, DNA that would later be confirmed as Hannah's. She had been there. She had survived, at least for a little while, alone in the wilderness. But then, what happened? The discovery of the note opened more questions than it answered. What did Hannah mean by the voices? Was she disoriented, suffering from hypothermia-induced hallucinations? It's well documented that people lost in the wilderness can experience auditory hallucinations, hearing voices calling their names, luring them deeper into danger. Or was there something else? Some theorized that Hannah might have encountered someone else in the woods, another hiker perhaps, who led her off the trail with false promises of help. But no evidence of foul play was ever found. Others pointed to the psychological toll of being lost and alone, panic, exhaustion, the mind playing tricks in the vast, indifferent silence of nature. Hannah's sister Claire read the note over and over, searching for hidden meaning in every word. She was scared, she said in an interview, but she was also fighting. She left that note because she wanted to be found. She wanted us to know she tried. The Westbrook family hired a private investigator who reviewed every detail of the case. He concluded that Hannah likely became disoriented on her hike, wandered off trail, and succumbed to exposure within days. The note, he believed, was written during a brief moment of lucidity, a final message before she lost the strength to continue. But why hasn't her body been found? Crater Lake National Park covers over 180,000 acres of wilderness, dense forest, deep ravines, underground caves formed by ancient volcanic activity. It's entirely possible, likely even, that Hannah's remains are still out there, hidden beneath layers of earth and foliage, waiting to be discovered. Or maybe she's somewhere no one has thought to look yet. To this day, Hannah Westbrook's case remains officially unsolved. The note is kept as evidence, locked away in a storage facility, a haunting relic of a life cut short. Her family continues to search, organizing volunteer groups every fall to comb through the park, hoping for closure they may never find. And park rangers still talk about it, about the day Marcus Holloway found that note in the tree, about the eerie feeling that settles over the forest when you're out there alone, about the stories whispered around campfires of people who went into the woods and never came back the same way they went in. Hannah's story is a reminder of how fragile we are, how quickly the familiar can become alien, how easily the world we know can slip away when we're surrounded by nature's indifference. She went looking for clarity, for peace, for a fresh start. Instead, she found something else.
The question that haunts everyone who knows this story is simple yet impossible to answer. What did Hannah hear out there in the woods that day? What voices was she following, and where did they lead her? If this story affected you the way it affected me, I encourage you to share it. Help keep Hannah's memory alive. And if you've ever had a strange experience in the wilderness, something you couldn't quite explain, leave a comment below. You never know what piece of information might help bring someone home. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and remember, the wilderness holds more mysteries than we'll ever understand.